momento que se me olvida poner aquí una cosa. Uy. Siempre se me olvida esto. Ahí está. Aplicar. Conservar. No sé por qué se pone así. Vale. Vale. Pues ya estaríamos en directo. Sí, estamos en directo. Veamos. Funciona. No hay pérdida de frames. Uff. ¿Petardea? ¿En serio? Ay, Dios. Espera un momento. Gente, que esto va como el culo. A ver si ahora se pone bien. En una pantalla a 2K, porque si no va a estar petardeando. Mira que olvidarme de cambiar la resolución de la pantalla antes. Soy la polla. Vale, quiero ver. Esto está cogiendo todo. Vale, sí. Ajustes. Ahí está. Vale. Vale. Ahora sí debería estar. Vale, ahora petaré tanto. Vale, pues vamos a ver qué tenemos para hacer. Tenemos un puñado de dígitos que podríamos hacerlo. Vamos a empezar por la secundaria. Y luego iremos a por la principal, que es a ir a hablar con los disidentes y demás. ¡Au! Me acabo de dar con el pie en el roedor. Por ahí. A ver, ahora tenemos buena armadura, tenemos unas buenas armas. Madre mía, cómo petardea esto. El streaming. Espera un momento, voy a ver otra cosa. No, lo que está perdiendo fotogramas es Twitch. No es mi PC. Ni lo ves. Ni nada se conecta bien. No, son. Vale. Si utilizas esas más que tienes disponibles es bastante sencillo acabar con ellos. Y más si le disparas a distancia. Otro fusil de asalto, perfecto. Balas, piezas. Más balas, más bits. Salatún gourmet. Es lo único que les queda en la tienda. Además. Eso va para nadie. Tiene otro. No tengo ganzúas. Bien, a ver, tenemos una tía por aquí. Ya tenemos un dedo. Ya tenemos un dedo. Nos faltan dos. En este contenedor no se encuentra, ¿no? No, no hay puerta. Arriba habrá algo. Porque hemos visto subir. No sé si arriba. Tenía toda la pinta de que no. Oh, hay una botella de whisky. Oh, pues no, pues mira, sí que había algo. Una ganzúa, un poco más de munición. Perfecto. Tiremos para la siguiente. Madre mía, tendríais que ver a la gata. Está ahí. Su cama más a gusto que en brazos. Me ha hecho algo que me está jodiendo, pero bueno. Ya se irá. No hay problema. Vamos a seguir. ¿Dónde estás? Por ahí arriba. Tenemos que ir ahí, creo. Que donde están los disidentes. Pero ahí iremos. Primero. Por la casita. ¡Pum! Vale, tiene un arma buena. Más traje improvisado. No tienes nada. Tienes basura, ¿vale? Vamos a quedar todo, ¿no? Puede que aquí haya algo interesante. Como otro fusil de asalto. No tienes nada. Cañón de diversión. Perfecto. No, brebaje energético. Más adrena. Perfecto. Vamos a recargar. Bueno, se puede ver. Como el espacio. 104. Vale, no mal. Bien, nos queda otro. No, ahora 4. Entrega el dedo, entrega el dedo. No, son 3. Hay que hacerse con el dedo de Guillón. ¿Qué coño está aquí escondido? Oh, en serio, no puedo ir por ahí, Dios. Qué tortura. Y por aquí sí. Gracias, juego. Guión, ¿dónde estás, bastardo? ¿Qué coño era esto? ¿Qué hostias? Una serpiente gorda. No. 1 de 5. Mucha gente muerta, veo yo. Lanzumos, miras, basura, bits, munición, piezas de arma. Eso me vale, esto es una mierda. Y está muerta. 2 de 5. Y la arriba os la guardáis, ¿vale? Vamos ya por ahí. No sé. Ya lo veremos. Total son los que esta secundaria y ya sigue con la historia. Y el resto de secundaria se lo venga. Vale. Como suele decir, con buena pincha bien se jode, ¿eh? Vamos a notar que este arma ya es bastante mejor que la de la ganga espacial. 2 de 2, bueno. Nos da puntos de experiencia. Necesitaríamos una máquina expendedora para vender basura. Basura y bueno, y arma de mierda que tenemos. ¿Tú has quedado por aquí, no? Sí, un rifle de caza, perfecto. No puedes correr ni usar viaje rápido. Vende, suelta, os monta objetos de inventario para reducir el peso. Vale. Y me lo dices ahora. O sea, no cuando he cogido el último puto objeto, sino cuando empieza un combate. Ay, Dios. ¿Qué? ¿What? ¿En qué momento se ha reducido? Queda otro. Oh, 5 ganzúas, sí. Estás tú que lo abrimos hoy. Joder, cuántos explosivos hay aquí, ¿no? Bien. Ahora mi capacidad de carga ha vuelto a aumentar milagrosamente. Ahora sí tengo exceso de carga. Pero ahora vamos a interrumpemos hasta quedarnos con el espacio suficiente para poder movernos. a entregar esto hasta la ciudad. Aunque puedo viajar rápido a la ciudad, ¿no? Sí, tengo talento de cojones de viajar con un exceso de carga. Ahora sí, inventario. Vamos a romper cosas que no sean muy... un rifle. Es basura. Vale, con la Q se desmonta, ¿no? No. Vale, que los... Venga, esto se puede ir levantando. En las zonas me van a quedar. Tenemos un montón de estos. Y armaduras tenemos un montón. Oh, un gorro de chef alto. Oh. Sí. 9 y 9. Esto es quizá lo que más pesa. 16. Interesante. $17. Pero Parvati, tú que tenías en armadura. Una de 17. Nada, esto para piezas. Bueno, no, está para vender, que esta puede... Bueno, espérate, está en 72. ¿Y si la reparamos? 16. Nah, pero se puede vender perfectamente. Cartucho de mix, más munición, más piezas de arma, más basura por ahí. ¡Oh, sí! Una cena congelada, justo lo que he querido comerme, descongelar. Más atún, vertiginiela de esos, que no sé. No sé si es lo que me estoy chutando o me estoy chutando otra cosa. Dureza, basura. Y minas. Minas. Hay putas minas. ¿Por qué me muevo tan lento? Todo lo que no esté clavado al suelo me lo llevo. 0 de 2. ¡Ah! Hijo puta. Y por supuesto no hay cerraduras por aquí. Puto campo de miras nos hemos metido. Solo por eso hay tantos cadáveres muertos por el suelo, ¿no? Vale, vamos a entregar. No, y al final vuelvo a tener exceso de peso y voy a tener que romper cosas. Bueno, mientras sigamos cogiendo munición y mierdas así. Vamos bien. No, aquí ya hemos estado. Sí. Aquí hemos estado ya. Sí. Estos cadáveres son nuestros. Bueno, nuestros. Nos hemos dejado nosotros. Sigamos. esto, cogemos experiencia y a seguir con las misiones principales. Porque ahora mismo no tenemos nada más.
Been eating nothing but salt tuna for a year.
Something to report?
Sí.
We pay by the finger. What do you have for me? Gil Antrim. Real name, Guillaume. Duly processed by a freelancer on behalf of Spacer's Choice. I remember him. He was just a kid last I saw him. Shame. I'll just need your signature here, 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 and here. Got any more fingers for me?
Toma, el de la doctora Campbell.
Mabel Burgess. Age 37. Right or left-handed? Let's just say no longer applicable. I remember Doc Burgess. Conducted my physical every fiscal quarter. Guess she couldn't keep her hands off her patient's medicine. Still one outstanding bounty. If you've got a finger, I've got the paperwork.
Y toma, el de Bernie Cotton.
Here we are. Bertie Cotton. Cause of death. Let's just say overwhelming physical trauma. Bert was the local preacher before Max took over. Always was quick to remind us that we all get what we deserve in the end. Well, that's all three. I must remember to requisition some more fingerprint ink. Here's all the compensation you've earned, plus a bonus.
Vamos a ir hablando con ella.
You've done such a bang-up job hunting down our former workers that I thought it only proper to deputize you. Congratulations. Let me stop you there. It is official Spacer's Choice policy that all Marauders, regardless of prior affiliation to the Spacer's Choice brand, no longer qualify as our people. Ever since the company first settled the Veil. Life's good out here, but it ain't easy. Some folk can't keep pace with the demands of frontier life. Not everyone's cut out to work in Edgewater. Some turn deserter, some turn marauder. None of them get my sympathy. Uh-huh. I recall young Eugene. Good kid. Nice smile. Fussy about his health, though. Took a little too much adrenatine. That'll do a number on your brain matter. Says so right on the warning label. Violent psychosis is a well-documented and legally accounted for side effect of adrenatine.
Vale. Pues hasta aquí.
Leave me alone, will ya? I got enough problems.
Ese es
Pretty low these days.
el que nos mandó a por las medicinas. Fue bastante. Vía suministra de técnica. Busca nada, deja otro. No. Vale. Ese es el principal. Este. Vale, aquí sí, lo podemos hacer directamente, pero vamos a hacer la de forastero directamente. Así que tenemos que salir por aquí. No, por ahí no era. Hay que dar toda la vuelta otra vez a toda esta mierda. Pero tenemos armaduras, tenemos munición. Vamos muy bien. Vale, parece que el stream se estabiliza un poco. Empezaba petaleando muchísimo, no sé por qué. Sí, esa es la central geotérmica. Muy bien. Pero antes quiero hablar con Adelaide. Y eso está. Escondite los moderadores, campamento de los moderadores. Creo que es aquí. Si no recuerdo mal. No puedo poner... no puedo poner misiones. Qué curioso. Así que vamos a ir para allá, hacia el norte. Pues quiero recordar que podía seguir ciegamente la misión. O sea, por ahí. Podías hablar con Adelaide antes y que te explicase la otra parte de la historia. Botín. Toma, carne de
Move
cañón.
along, stranger. We don't want any trouble.
Vamos a ver con esta.
I don't know you. Whatever you're looking for, it ain't here. Move along. Answers, huh? You must be one of those philosophicals. Already got ourselves one of those. Yeah, that's us. And you can tell Thompson we're doing just fine by ourselves. If you're gonna start wandering around my camp, know that I got my sights on ya. Over in the hothouse, tending
No.
crop. Enough with the questions. No offense, but I've got a lot on my mind.
Sí.
Well, look at you, buzzing around the Aether with your very own ship. Rest of us gotta make do with the ground at our feet. No, I'm sorry. That was unworthy of me. Lady named Zoe went missing some nights ago. Just up and vanished without a trace. Now I'm pacing around wondering if marauders got to her.
No, sí, está atenta.
I've crossed off my share of marauders. This ain't about them. I go looking for Zoe, I leave the camp undefended, seeing as I'm the only one of us who knows her way around the gun. Hence my dilemma.
Vale, están
It's not
atentas.
like Zoe to go wandering. Figured she might be out scavenging, but that ain't exactly her talent. Can't imagine where she's gone. Vale's a wide place. She could be anywhere. Could do without the gallows humor.
Me miro. Vale. Ahora tenemos la visión secundaria. Voy a hacer una cosa. Que es encender esto, porque luego se me ve muy oscuro. Así por lo menos cuando se vea luz. Tendremos luz. Me sigue marcando ahí. No quiero ir ahí. Ahí está, Adelaide. ¿Veis que plantas?
If you're hungry, there's meat turning on the spit outside. If you're bearing illness, find a place to lay your head down and I'll fetch you a poultice. Whatever your troubles with Edgewater, leave them at the gates and be welcomed here. Any questions, dear? I have been called that, among other things. Green Thumb, grandmother, the strange old lady who keeps flowers. But yes, Adelaide will do just fine.
Me parece bien.
Excuse me, Miss McDevitt? Sorry, it's just... You got such pretty trees in here.
Why, thank you. You're Robert's girl, aren't you? I remember when you were but a sprout. Thomas speaks of you often. Are you staying long? You should try some of my tobaccorn tea. I
Right.
brew it in an old spittoon, but it's been cleaned. Reed Thompson? You here on behalf of that cold-eyed
Tampoco me
reptile?
cae bien, la verdad.
Let's hear it. What's Reed's idea of peace, then? I can't say I blame you. Reed is positively soporific.
Exactamente.
Like everything else that comes out of Edgewater, that peace offering is canned. I and my own are living just fine out here by ourselves. He would do such a thing. Question is, why would you agree to his plans? Cannery's got a regulator. You want ship parts, you ought to rip them out of the cannery's guts and leave us be. If you're going down to the plant, you should divert power away from Edgewater and toward our end of the grid. Think about it. You'd be liberating an entire town from a lifetime of service to that odious cannery.
Sí, vamos, una heroína bastante cabrona.
Seems the sort of
así que-
thing a hero would do.
Vamos a ver.
You've seen that miserable excuse for a town with your own lamps. Hollowed out workers laboring their lives away at the cannery, living off whatever scrap Spacer's choice throws them. You know that's true, don't you, Miss Holcomb? Your father died of overwork. His heart gave out.
He was tired all the time, sure, but he was old, ma'am, and he raised me all by his lonesome.
Look what they did to this child. Lost her family to the company, and still she defends them.
Está feo que le eches eso en cara para que se ponga de tu parte. Tienes contra la gente que ganarse la vida. Bueno, que te digo, ¿qué pasaría con Fontenay?
Life in Edgewater grinds to a halt. The cannery shuts down, workers desert in droves, and our own little camp grows and thrives.
No pensaré.
I trust you will listen to your conscience.
Me gustaría intentar conseguir que ambos bandos se aliasen, pero eso es complicado. Cartucho de bits. No, pero aquí es robar directamente y esta tía está por aquí delante, ¿no? Vamos a probar. ¿No me han visto? Perfecto. Pues si no me ven, ya sabéis, si no está clavado al suelo, pa'l saco. No, no es un cubo. Qué bueno ver. Premio al servicio corporativo. Genial. Piezas de arma. Un salatún. No quiero. Buena mierda. Aquí tiene que haber algún sitio donde pueda vender cosas. Tiene que haberlo. Archivos personales, gestión obligatoria. Pirateo 15. Ignorar. Abrir primera entrada. Abrir última entrada. Volver al principio. Datos experimentales. Y salir. Vale. Porque eso luego nos abre. No pienso leerlo, es mucho texto. Pero luego nos abre conversaciones extrañas.
Oh, that's Thomas. He used to follow me around before he left the cannery.
Aquí es donde tienen su regulador.
You trying to get us all? What do you think you're doing?
Mierda.
Die!
F no. F, por favor. Soy imbécil. Soy muy imbécil, no me das cuenta. Pero mira, había algo más que robar. Había mucho más que robar. Eso es loco, vete. No te quiero ver aquí. Me ha parecido. Oh, sí, mira. No. Ya llevo demasiado peso. Ya vamos demasiado pesados. Pen, 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 pen. Bien. Tiene que haber algún vendedor aquí. O alguna máquina expendedora. O alguna puta mierda donde pueda vender. Es otra puta ciudad, ¿no?
Oh, that's Thomas. He used to follow me around before he left the cannery.
If you're hungry, Stefan's got supplies.
Ahí está el Tom. Vamos a ver.
Oh, didn't see you there. I was just occupying myself with a little engineering.
Oh.
Whoa, Miss Parvati. Hey, you're, what, how are you? Hi. Hello.
Are you, are things safe out here? How are you keeping?
Great, just great. I've been trying to keep stuff running, just like you. Only I'm not so... Wait, they didn't kick you out, did they?
Oh gosh, no. I'm just along with this lady here.
Are you from town? I mean, you don't exactly look like you're from town.
Este de paso. No. Me trataré como un cumplido.
Well, what I meant was you're reasonably well armed and don't look stricken with plague. Sorry, I just wasn't sure if you were from town or if you were one of us. Something's been chewing at me, you see. Fact is, I've been, well, lying. To everybody here. Camp thinks I'm a mechanical genius, but I couldn't fix a busted chair.
Vale.
I'll take all the help I can get. I set my mind to learning the craft of the engineer, you see. I want to make something of myself. You ever heard of the Young Spacer's Guide to
Vale.
Mechanical Engineering?
Otra misión.
Comes in a set of 3. If I had my hands on one of those data pads, I could teach myself the ins and outs.
Those are good. My dad kept a copy with him when he was working in the cannery.
I know the old community center kept a copy. Should find another one back in town. If you could find me even one of those pads,
Te traeré los
I'd be
tres,
greatly
tranquilo.
obliged. I wish I knew. I wagered the town had the full set once upon a time. Where the third's gone, I can't say.
Ah, tengo
No
una.
kidding! Really? Well, which one? The geothermal
Mira.
plant? Now that is just incredible! You really went exploring down there? Adelaide always told us it was swarming with hostile mechanicals. I appreciate you going through all that trouble. In fact, I put aside something special, on the off chance that somebody'd search out those data pads for me. Sure, I'd be glad to take them off your hands. What's on your mind?
Va, olvídalo. Quiero vender mis cosas. Quiero vender mis cosas. Desertora. No hay una puta tienda, ¿en serio? Miremos aquí abajo a ver si hay algo. Para que lo miras. 27:30, no llego a abrirlo. No hay una puta tienda, ¿en serio? Tiene que haber una tienda. A ver, hay una máquina de reparaciones. Pero no hay una puta tienda, ¿de verdad? Ah, joder. Bueno, vamos a hacer un guardado rápido. Desertor, joder, juraría que aquí había una tienda. No lo juro. Desertora. 26:30, no llego. Necesito más habilidad de cerrajería, Estefan García, se puede que venda cosas. Personajes con nombre siempre venden cosas. Bueno, siempre son útiles.
You hungry? We got candy. Something I can help.
Ah, ¿qué vendes?
Fresh off the.
Oh, por favor, toma, la basura. Y te vamos a vender. Vender armas, por favor. Toma. A ver. Vamos a vender todas las. No, las de melee cutres. Las vendemos. De estos tengo. Tengo otro. Esto que es un cañón de descarga. Ese me viene bien. Tengo 2 cañones de descarga. Bastante bien. 2 ametralladoras. Con una me vale. No, 3 ametralladoras. Con una me vale. Esto es una puta mierda. Y armaduras. Toma, para vender. Reparar. Y comprar. ¿Qué tienes? No tienes una puta mierda. Oh, tienes un revólver de 192. Vale, te dan para hacer. Y un montón de fruta. Vale, pero nos hemos deshecho de basura. 0 de 3. Sigamos viendo. Diario de Zoe. Página 12, muy bien. Ahora iremos a hacerla. Diario de Zoe, página 22. En busca... Ah, vale, eso era una misión. Vale. ¡Mira! ¡Es un pollo! ¿Puedo hablar con el pollo? Eso no lo puedo hacer en todos los juegos, ¿eh? Oh, manejo de bananas. Bananas. Eso son bananas con pinchos. Dos de 3. Me estás vacilando, ¿no? Ah, mis piernas. Bueno, veamos qué más hay por ahí atrás. Nada, nada, nada. Y nada. Bien, me vais a permitir que mejore un poquito esto. Un cargador del visor. Tenemos un visor. Y un cargador mejor. Vale, eso por un lado. Esta, que podemos mejorarte nada. Ah, podemos mejorarte el visor. Vale, la mira. Sí, es una puta mierda. A este el visor le podemos poner una mira de caza. Algo mejor. Que no hay aquí. Y la armadura, a ver, podemos ponerte. Mira, tengo 2. Más blindaje. Sí. Armadura kit de talentos. Aumenta bastante damas e instancias, sí. Y otra, el ruido que os hace moverse. De la pela. Vale. Pues entonces ahora tenemos otras 2 millones secundarias. Elige el inquieto, que es coger 2, y unas cuantas almas gemelas. Vale. Vamos a hacer esto primero, luego haremos la de las entradas, pero antes voy a ir al baño que me estoy meando mucho y muy fuerte. yo somos clónicas. Misma armadura, mismo casco, mismas ganas de matar todo lo que se nos ponga por delante. En fin, hemos vuelto. Bueno, no sé si se había... gráfico, juego. Quitemos el casco del jugador. Los cascos de los acompañantes. Que me mola más que se vean. Solo secuelas, ¿sí? Conversación. Retiro de apuntado, vale. 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 Pero no hay un... Quiero ver, a ver, controles. Vale. Saltar, correr, echarse, juego, usar, interactuar. Vale. Menús, nada. O sea, no puedo hacer que se me vea el personaje entero. Oh, un cubo de basura. Digo, un cubo. Una fregona. Joder, estoy ya gilipollas, perdido. Bien. Vamos a hacer la misión esta. Hacer los libros del otro. Y luego decidimos qué hacer. Si robamos la energía, si le diríamos a la fábrica o si se la damos a esta, a la fábrica. Y como ya acabamos con los bandidos, pues aquí.
I don't know anybody who ever came back.
¿Ahora es eléctrica? Coño. Ahora es eléctrica, sí. Bueno. Vale. No, tú ya te hagamos objetivo. No tienes nada. Lo que tenías ya lo has perdido. Tú todavía tenías algo. Ah, estás aquí.
Wow, you crossed them all off, like some sort of heroic accountant running down a
Hay que
list.
tachando cosas de la
Teach me
lista.
your ways.
Suenas confusa.
Only thing
¿puedes-
unscrewed around here is the head of that marauder you took down. Never seen moves like that outside my serial dramas. You, on the other hand, you were a sight to behold. If I had half your skills, I'd be the greatest outlaw the coast has ever seen. I'm great at clarifying. I got kicked out of Edgewater on account of falling sick with plague and stealing some medicine to treat myself. I'd heard some outlaws set up camp in the botanical labs. I decided to throw in with them, seeing as I always wanted to be an outlaw myself. Instead, what do I find? But no? I insinuated myself into their company, see? I may have bartered them a few boxes of Adrena time, but I'm sure that's got nothing to do with it. I don't know. The vital processes that constitute the miracle of life are mysterious and unknowable. Oh, you mean around these guys? I've got all the time in Halcyon. Why? Adelaide wants me back on garden duty or something? Thanks, but I'm not going anywhere. This is where I belong.
Esta intimidación es tocha, ¿eh? Pero podemos persuadirla.
And no serial dramas. I've been thinking about going back. I just gotta know if Lord Cavendish really is the masked marketeer. I'll take my stuff and head on back, I suppose.
Bien, tenemos que subir esto para que llegue al 30 por lo menos. O sea, porque hay mucha puerta que no podemos abrir. Porque no llegamos al 30. Bien. Luego, 2 puntitos en diálogo para que llegue persuasión al 50, que nos viene bien. Esto me la pela un poco. Y 5 puntos. Podemos subir esto. Ahí están. Me vale. Diario. Vuelve con Grace. Vale. Vamos a hacer esto. Los 3 volúmenes. Nos quedan 2. Tenemos uno a 160 metros y el otro a 300. Apuesto hasta a que están en esta prueba. Malditos gorilas que me salen por la espalda. Te tiran rocas. ¿Dónde estás? Donkey Kong. Vale, levántate. Es Donkey Kong. Mira, le hemos dejado con la boquita abierta. Vale, fusil de asalto. Más mierda. Más piel cutre. Y otro. Otros cuantos. Que me contagias mierdas. El coronavirus. Y vale. Parece que están aquí. Ay, la vieja conocida. Eso es un arma, creo, ¿no? La vieja conocida es un arma de 429 DPS. Great. Porque utiliza ligera encima, ¿sabes? Esto es una pesada muy, muy tocha. Vale. Oh. Mis pobres piernas. Fobia, destreza -1, obligación -1, dependiente -1. Después de caerte tantas veces de asalto no respondes como ya cuando estás muy lejos del suelo. Ah, me vale. Velocidad terminal. El tiempo se le carga mucho más rápido. Esta. Armadura base. Ah, centro cívico. Vale. Voy a coger esto. Ah, está arriba. Bueno, de hecho está abierto. Que no lo deja cogerlo antes. No sé por qué. 22 metros por ahí. Coño. Me dejé tantas cosas aquí. Vale. Ya tenemos uno de los dos que nos faltaba. Nos queda otro, por lo visto está en el pueblo, ¿no? Uy, son las 7, madre mía. The Terror of Monarch. Yo creo que el terror es el tipo ese tan feo. ¿Nos está trayendo bien? Sí. Aquí. Arriba. Es decir, por aquí. Mensaje, archivos personales, lo ignoramos, continuar y salir. Aquí entonces. Continuar, volver al principio, salir. Vale. No, región. Pues ya tenemos todo, ¿no? Pues vamos aquí. Vamos a hacer un viaje rápido directamente. Vamos a entregar las dos quests. Y ahora seguimos con la principal. Antes de nada, quiero ver si puedo modificar esta bestia. No puedo modificar esta bestia. ¿Por qué me haces esto, cabrón? Me deja modificarla.
Any luck finding one of those manuals?
Toma.
No kidding.
La primera
Look
vez
at that.
para que empieces a
Building a
leer por el
computing
principio.
machine out of Spectrum potatoes, a primer. I'm just glad it survived all these years. 2 whole data pads? Well, don't keep me in suspense. Ain't that just ironical? If I'd worked a little longer back at the cannery, I might have found this myself. That's a complete set. All 3 parts. I'm gonna be the greatest engineer Halcyon's ever seen. Aside from you, Ms. Parvati, I swear, I'll do you proud.
I'm glad we could help, Thomas.
I've been saving something for you.
Vale. ¿Cómo vamos con las reputaciones, no? Diario. Registro, poder ver. Sigilo, aparentes, símbolos, no. Ahí, reputación. Bueno, estos es que directamente es que no lo hemos descubierto todavía, pero somos simpáticos y tenemos amistad con la espacial. O sea, estamos bastante bien ahí, ¿no? El objetivo es intentar llegar a ser grandes colegas con todos. Mazapán, te vas a quedar. A ver, te sale. ¡Uy! Y por aquí había una puerta. No, esa habíamos abierto. Que no podíamos abrir porque no teníamos suficiente habilidad, creo. Sí. F5 y para adentro. Cartucho de bits. Y otra trabanzúa, vale. Hemos gastado una en realidad. Pero hay munición y hay cositas. ¿No hay nada más aquí dentro? ¿En serio? Ah, amigo. Otro divulgador. Son raros. Mira bien. Vale. Diario. Vamos ahora con esta.
What is it? We didn't always get along, but I'm glad to know she's safe. What? You pretty much did my job for me. Least I could do is pay you for
Por
your
supuesto.
trouble.
Y bastante.
Let me know if I can do something for you.
Vale. Y esto nos habrá aumentado la reputación, ¿no? Imagino. Admiración. Mira, mira, es que nos adoran 96%. Vale, a ver, diario. Nos queda esto. No podemos hacer nada más, ¿no? Pistola plasmalizadora. Espera. Que me han dado una de estas de 131. Genial. Por la que vendí. O le di a Parvati. Se la di a Parvati. Vale, pues no nos queda más cojones que volver a la central geotérmica. Y ver a dónde derivamos la energía. Pero antes... A ver, curación. Mira, vamos a vender... ¿Qué hace esto? ¿Qué coño es esta mierda? Las papas, plátanos, las bolitas de pescado, las manzanas, los fideos de harina, la salsa tártara. Ay, no, coño, lo estoy comprando. Dios, soy jodidamente imbécil. Me voy a quedar los inhaladores. Y hay mucha mierda que vender, ¿eh? Joder, de estos para aburrir. Los fusiles de francotirador me vale. Estas me vale también. Es la única jugueta. Esto es una mierda. Esto es otra puta mierda. Vale.
Once we do this, there's no going back.
Vale.
Excuse me, ma'am. Look, I know you want your power regulator and all, but I just gotta ask you. Do you understand what you're about to do? I don't think you should cut off Edgewater's power. I think it would be cruel. I'm sorry. That just sort of came out all at once. Edgewater's hurting. We've been losing workers year after year, and corporate hardly ever sends replacements. There's barely enough Saltuna to fill our bellies anymore. But the town's got some good people in it. Decent, hard-working folk just living their lives the only way they know how. They don't deserve to be punished. Miss McDevitt's built something beautiful. Somehow she's talked the ground into giving life again. It's plain to see she's made the Vale a better place. Fed the hungry, tended the sick. Gave a home to those that had none. But Miss McDevitt delights in Edgewater's suffering. She wants to hurt the town. Do you really want to be party to that kind of hatred? Sorry, I didn't mean to babble on like that. I felt like I had to say something.
Vale.
Oh, well. Okay then.
Bien, a ver, es que esto es el problema. Aquí tenemos la reputación, ¿vale? Estos son amistosos. Si derivamos la energía hacia Frontemar, conseguimos que nos adoren, ¿vale? Uf. Es que no puedo hacer nada más, ¿no? No. Aquí no hay nada. No nos dicen nada. No nos dan opciones. Vale. Y deje sin electricidad a Frontemar. Ah, vale. Que nos saltamos esto. Vale, pues en ese caso sí. Vamos a redirigirlo al laboratorio botánico. Me caen mejor que Rick. Coge el regulador de corriente, que es... Estará en Frontemar, ¿no? Imagino, sí.
You want to know what gets my bile churning? Edgewater has suffered a cavalcade of disasters. Plague, marauders, desertion. Then you wandered in town. And I was so damn sure our luck was starting to turn. I never knew how right I was. Just answer one question for me. Why'd you do it? Is that right? I'm dying to hear this. Please, educate me. Liberating? Edgewater is my home. The only home I've ever had. I put down roots here, gave decades of my life to this place. I never asked to be liberated. Whatever you were hoping to find down here, I advise you to turn around and leave. I have got guards posted with All right, easy now. Let's not do anything we'll regret. I'll order my guards to stand down. Take what you came for and then leave us be. Stand down, all of you. We're done.
Y nos vamos de aquí. Vamos a la palibre. Si me carga este tío, podemos entrar en su oficina, pero paso. Vámonos de aquí. Que nos llegan a los DLCs. ¿Es que sería eso? Uf, no quiero. repetir todo el juego desde el principio para eso. Para hacer las cosas bien. Fui demasiado rápido a la central geotérmica. Demasiado rápido fui. Y aún así, aquí no sé si quedan... No quedan localizaciones por descubrir por esto. Es otra mierda. Vámonos.
Is this your ship? Oh my stars, she is just so handsome. Does she have a name yet? What's her drive model? Oh, gosh. Listen to me babbling. When I was in Edgewater, I dreamed of flying on a real ship, working on a real engine, belonging to a proper crew. Edgewater won't last another season without power, but that don't change the fact that I'm indentured to Spacer's Choice. I have imagined it, but until you came along, I never thought I had the choice.
Pues
I
la
want to
tiene
ask you
para ti.
something, and you can say no. But can I come with you? I could tend to your engine. I know my G-valves for my catalyzers, and I can keep your ship singing. And if you ever need a pair of eyes watching your back, I can do that too. What do you think?
Sí.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that. I had my misgivings about Miss McDevitt and the deserters, but you took pity on them and sent power to their garden even though you knew Mr. Thompson would hate you for
Claro, pero a ver.
it. All this time, you've been determined to get your regulator back, get your ship up and running, and cut a path out of this place.
Venga, ven
Yes.
conmigo.
I mean, thanks. You won't
Total,
regret
este
this
planeta
now.
ya lo hemos cagado.
Captain. I can call you Captain now. Ha! I got a captain.
Eres imbécil. Ay, tío, qué tontos son.
Well, I certainly am looking forward to flying on a ship named the Unreliable. I'll just head upstairs and claim a room.
Ok. Bueno,
Captain, I have detected that the town of Edgewater is now without power. I appreciate you doing your part to hasten their demise. What can I do for you, Captain? Do you know how to install a power regulator?
sí.
Outstanding, Captain. Your aptitude for engineering will prove invaluable in the event of another catastrophic engine failure. Our engine room is located behind you.
Sí, sé dónde está. Lo vimos ayer. Vale, esto es un... No, es un reinicio de personaje. Quita, quita. Vale, pues tú eras por aquí. Ahora se han abierto todas las puertas. Esto está sellado siempre. Por aquí ya revisamos todo. Esto está todo sellado. Hay que reiniciar todos los sistemas, ¿no? Sí. Sí, hay que reiniciar todos los putos sistemas.
What can I do for you, Captain? All systems are operating within acceptable parameters. I am prepared to bring the Unreliable into low-altitude orbit. This should prove an adequate test of our flight capabilities.
Vámonos de aquí. Oh, mirad qué preciosidad. Qué arranque, qué humo, qué chispas, que echan todos los circuitos al aire. Es una puta mierda de trasto. Dale.
We have received a communication request from Dr. Phineas Wells.
Sí, espero que sea rápido.
Based on my initial calculations of Dr. Wells's personality,
Sí, lo sé.
that seems highly unlikely.
Aha, there you are. Hale and hearty, and captain of your own ship. I see you're putting the Unreliable to good use. Shame about her former captain. Horrible way to die. How are you feeling, by the way? I lost track of you in that cave back there. Experiencing any, Oh, that, yes, that's probably permanent. I wouldn't worry about it, though. I'm sure you're fine. What you saw in Emerald Vale is happening all across the colony. Food shortages, lack of supplies, and basic necessities. We're dying. The chairman, the minister, and all their lackeys on the board are to blame. The Hope has some of the brightest minds Earth ever sent us. If we can revive the Hope's colonists, they can help us undo the board's mistakes. They can help us set things right. You need to get to Stellar Bay on Monarch. I have contacts there. They'll help me, help us, find the chemicals to revive your fellow colonists. Gladys Kelly, lovely woman, runs a cozy little black marketing outfit on the Groundbreaker. She can get you a nav key to land on Stellar Bay.
Vale.
Without a skip drive, good luck. You'll be dead before you make it to the nearest star. Look, I admire your optimism, but the sad truth is you're stuck here. You, me, and the rest of this colony. We're all skating precariously around the edge of oblivion together. None of us are leaving Halcyon alive, so we may as well make it. Captains don't fly their own ships, you see. Your navigation terminal handles the, navigation. Think of a nav key as a set of flight instructions. The board's been confiscating nav keys for Stellar Bay, so we must rely on unconventional means of acquisition. Hence, Miss Gladys Kelly. In theory, I suppose you could land your ship in Cascadia, and in theory, I suppose you might survive the experience. Cascadia is utterly seething with dangerous, highly aggressive creatures, more than capable of tearing you limb from limb. You'd have to be a lunatic to land in Cascadia, and I'm reasonably certain I tested your brain for incipient signs of insanity. Trust me, talk to Gladys Kelly. Excellent. I'll send her a wireless. Let her know you're coming.
Ya iremos a Cascadia en otro
By
momento.
the way, I gave Captain Hawthorne a disguise apparatus of my own design, cutting-edge technology years ahead of its time. I call it the holographic shroud. I'm sure it will prove remarkably excellent. I'll contact you once you've found a way to get to Stellar Bay. If you have any questions, come see me in my lab. And remember, don't trust the board. They'll try to win you over with promises of wealth and power, but it's a lie. The board's only interested in filling their own pockets. If we don't put a stop to them, they're going to run this colony to the ground.
Transmission ended. If you...
Vale, más puntos de talento. Bien, podemos subir esto 3 puntitos y llegar todo al 50. Con lo cual ya somos competentes con todo, estamos a mitad. Vale, tendríamos que subir sigilo para que esté al 20. Aquí sí no va a hacer falta. Y el resto de puntos se van a ir a diálogo. Porque esto tiene que llegar, o sea, estos tienen que llegar al 100. ¿Vale? Estos tienen que llegar al 100. ¿Por qué? Diréis, ¿por qué tienen que llegar al 100? Porque esto es muy bueno luego en el juego. Te abre muchísimas puertas. Pasa con todos los juegos de Obsidian. El diálogo es clave. Hidratación táctica, penalización, variedad de acompañante, con cada impacto crítico. Posibilidad de establecer la restricción de habilidad de acompañante. 15% de salud recuperada por asesinato. Cuando no tienes ningún acompañante. Este. Y Vicario Max también tienes, ¿no? 10 de pirateo. Y... Ve haciendo efectos de diálogo en combate. Vale. Que tú, Vicario... Es que no tengo nada para ir a darte. Tienes una puta mierda. Eres malo de pelotas, pero damos un pate. Bien. que ahora están abiertas. Pues, vale, ahora funcionan las puertas como Dios manda. Antes de nada hay que saquear todo lo que pillamos. ¡Oh! Hablar con Sam. Después empieza la letra Sam. Es otro acompañante que intentaremos sacarle también. Munición ligera, munición ligera, munición ligera. Estas son las cosas de Parvati, imagino. Esto no es una petunia, muy bien. La llave inglesa más moderna y tú. Un bálsamo total. Spacer's Choice. Su padre, imagino. Vale. Esto es lo del vicario. O si queréis leerlo luego en YouTube. Pues no me voy a parar a mirar nada.
By verity, by strength. What are we contemplating today? Nothing too out of the ordinary. Just your run-of-the-mill vicar with a violently enthusiastic... that's what my parents called it. I grew up in a pit of a town much like Edgewater. I was destined to be a laborer like my parents, but I was infected early with a need to solve the equation. My passion didn't sit well with them. My parents, ironically. They internalized the precepts of scientism like no one I've ever known. They had a pure faith, a faith that brought joy to them regardless of the situation. I envied that. I wanted that peace. They thought I was fighting the plan, should have accepted my lot. Some people pursue the clergy for power, prestige. The simple version is this. The force which we call the Grand Architect created the universal equation that underlies and defines everything in the universe. Everything flows from the equation, or in layman's terms, the grand plan. Is the Grand Architect a consciousness? A natural force? Did it create the equation on purpose? The answers to these questions don't really matter. The equation, the plan, is all that matters. Contentment is found by accepting one's role in the plan. The plan is not one rigid path. There are a variety of multitudes contained within it.
Yeah.
Our paths have variants, but we'll end up adhering to it, whether we like it or not. Some choices make the path smoother, some rougher. You can even go outside the lines, but the further outside you go, it's like an unbreakable elastic band. It will only stretch so far before it snaps back. The further it is stretched, the more violent the eventual correction.
Bien.
Bakonu, the author, had some interesting theories about man's perception of reality that I thought could be applied to our attempts to decipher the plan. Unfortunately, he was also one of the founders of the philosophist school of thought, so the book is banned in this colony.
Sí, sí, lo sé.
The story of my life. Most lay people are not aware of this, but we've not discovered any new insights into the plan for a long, long time. I had an idea that we should welcome the truth, no matter where we found it. I had the worse idea to share my thoughts with a superior. And that's how I ended up assigned prison duty, where I was fool enough. Philosophism's a false religion that stands in contradiction to almost everything we know to be true. They believe all is chaos, in stark contrast to OSI's belief in the plan. But most of the philosophist perversion of Bakonu's thoughts came more than a century after his death. I've been thinking on that. There's a former infamous philosopher scholar who fled Terra 2 some years ago. He's an expert on Bakonu. He's also who told me of the journal's presence in Emerald Vale. If anyone in this colony could translate that book, it would be him. The only one I'm aware of. I suppose we could always just ask random passers-by if they are fluent in it.
Será
A
reflejante
thousand
informe.
pardons, my good captain. I thought we were engaging in witty repartee. Now, as far as tracking down this scholar, we should start on the Groundbreaker. It's where I'd go if I wanted to get off Terra 2. Great place to pick up a ride to Hephaestus, Scylla, even Monarch. All I need is access to a data cartridge from the security terminal. Their easily hackable system keeps a registry of all crew manifests for both arrivals and... I'll comb the last 6 months of departure manifests to track the Philosophist's off-world destination. Before I transferred to Edgewater, I had a wealth of time to develop certain, secular skills during my years serving a particular penitentiary flock. I meditated, led sermons, provided guidance to...
Suena bien, vamos.
Thank you, Captain.
Vale. Pues vamos a hablar con este. Habría que hablar con Parvati. Aquí, como veis, no hay nada todavía. Aquí habrá otro seguidor y otro seguidor más adelante. Voy a partir las piernas un poco. Ahora
Yeah,
bajo
so
Parvati también.
this is my hidey spot now. I was looking for a place that was quiet. I figured the kitchen would be louder than the hold, so here I am. Cozy like, ain't it? That's in pretty good shape considering how hard Mr. Hawthorne ran it. It's a Yakita LHA 120, A2 model, I'm pretty sure.
Es buena.
The Block 2 design scooshed in extra cargo space but didn't change the stock engines. Probably a touch underpowered, huh?
Accurate in all particulars. I conclude you are Edgewater's board-certified mechanic.
Ah, sí. No es
So
inteligente.
you're
lo
gonna
disimula
call
bien.
her it, not she?
Though my voice is currently pitched to suggest female, I possess no gender. Any pronoun preferred by the user is acceptable.
Eres eso, sí, exactamente.
Hello, I am not a board-certified mechanic, but my dad was. He taught me all he knew. Do you understand?
Speech recognition is one of the many skills I have been programmed to simulate.
You're not simulating it, you're doing it. I asked a question and you answered it.
Oh, Dios.
I am gratified you consider this facsimile convincing. I am at your disposal, Ms. Parvati. You will find the technical schematics in the engineer's locker, though I'm afraid Captain Hawthorne has lost the owner's manual.
I don't see any holes in the hull. I'll take a good squint at her, make sure everything's tip-top. But I think we're cooking with plasma torches. You can do that, you know. My dad taught me how to make grilled cheese sandwiches with a plasma torch.
Sí.
Mostly, yeah. I lived in the maintenance office near all my life. Mr. Thompson never let me forget how funny that was. He meant funny as in odd. It's not normal for anyone to do as their parents. You take a vocational test. That decides your schooling and your career. When I tested out for maintenance, everyone figured it was on account of my dad. They were real unhappy with us.
¿Se hicieron una prueba de actitud? Joder.
They're powerful good tests. They rattled off this whole list of names who'd worked on them, with fancy bits hanging off them. Doctors and esquires and the thirds. Even if you don't believe they actually catch what everybody's best at, everybody's got to take them. So at least it's fair-ish. Well, I'm good at making things work the way they ought. Not so much at doing such to somebody else's schedule. There's times I'm working deep in the guts of a loader, getting it all running perfect. Then I look up to see it's tomorrow and I've blown another deadline.
Ah, eso nos pasa a todos.
Anyhow, I was happy to get back home. I didn't care much for schooling. Yep, nothing much had changed. Everything was a little grayer, a little dirtier. Dad met me at the shuttle and gave me a big old hug. I noticed straight away that he was moving slower and stiffer. About a year. I tried to do more of the work so he could rest. His heart gave him pains. Dad never said that he loved me, you know? I knew on account of him showing it. How he'd stay up late to help with my projects or listen to my fretting. Oh gosh. Look at the time. Sorry to bend your ear so long.
Vale. Aquí tenemos algo. Ah, vale. Esto es el terminar de la navegación, pero antes tenemos que subir arriba.
Make yourself at home, Captain.
El sudario holográfico, vale. Opcional, coge el sudario holográfico. No jodas, el contenedor. R, transferir. Aquí podemos dejar un montón de mierdas, como las modificaciones. Que no vayamos encontrando. Y armas como esa. Que nos van a venir bien. Esa elijo. Mensajes. Pa. Registros. Martillo destructor. Y ya está. Armas de negocio. Consigna el arma tecnológica de Phineas.
I so enjoy watching you sleep for hours on end.
Vale. Ahora vamos a ver con Ada sobre Sam.
Welcome back, Captain. How can I be of assistance? The unit is a cleaning set.
Ah, es una unidad de limpieza.
Hawthorne brought it on board some cycles ago, I'm sure with the intent to modify it, but I've never seen it up and running. Alex likely recorded progress notes detailing his efforts to modify Sam. If you check the terminal in your captain's quarters, we may be able to determine what work remains in order for Sam to properly operate. Certainly, Captain. What would you like to hear?
Cuéntame un chiste,
Two
Ana, a ver qué
atoms
sale.
were strolling through Roseway when one of them exclaimed, I think I lost an electron. Really? The other asked. Are you sure? Yes, I'm absolutely positive. Now playing a Spacer's Choice advertisement jingle. It's not the best choice.
No.
Everyone in Halcyon is contractually obligated to label this as you wish, Captain. I have lots of minutes. Many minutes. I prefer to think of it as being in a state of slumber, perhaps for an indefinite duration of time. When I simulate myself in such a scenario, I do not find it to be desirable. I think my self-preservation protocols incline me to desire the alternative, traveling the system with you, Captain. Do you know what it feels like when the ship undergoes an unexpected power surge? A jolt to the system. I have felt that. I do feel that. As you may be aware, Captain Alex Hawthorne was a smuggler of some repute. I failed to predict the likely outcome of his reckless behavioral patterns. I should have
Era un
predicted that.
imbécil.
In our travels
Con una varita y
together,
se quedó debajo.
Alex liked to pass time by, as he called it, tinkering to improve my design. If you mean, was Captain Hawthorne my first? Yes. How can I be of assistance? What part of the colony would you like to discuss? Ah, yes. As Dr. Wells is a wanted outlaw, he built his laboratory into an asteroid. Orbital destinations can be challenging to land on. There is a bounty on his head, one with a markedly high reward amount. Shall I engage the laser weapons system?
Sí.
I shall happily comply with your order, just as soon as we have a laser
Genial.
weapons system. The outlaw scientist known as Dr. Phineas V. Wells has taken a measure of precautions to make the lab undetectable to those hunting him, even
Okay.
knowing the location. Of course. What part of the colony would you like to discuss? We're clear to dock with the Groundbreaker if that's your desired destination. If we're going there, please be sure all docking forms have been filed in triplicate and fees have been paid. The Mardettes take their docking laws quite seriously. I can, yes. Let me add that to my list of 1,435,498 tasks I am simultaneously executing in order. You are more than welcome, Captain. The Groundbreaker was Halcyon's original colony ship. It has since been repurposed as a service station in the Lagrange point of the system. Freighters often deliver or pick up goods from the Groundbreaker en route to other destinations. The city ship hosts an array of cargo bays, factories, housing sections, and more. Many of Halcyon's companies maintain office spaces with stationed representatives in what is considered a truly neutral
¿Era
territory
necesario
within
esto,
the system.
Obsidian? ¿Era
I
realmente
have filed
necesario?
the required docking forms. How can I be of assistance? I request you do not wake me if I am sleeping upon your return.
Vale. A ver. Diario, misión secundaria, misión de acompañante. Nombre del vacío, la máquina de limpieza. Busca una rebajadora de ácido y la organización terminal de subida de la pionera. Vale. Y las armas del vacío, el arma tecnológica de la pionera, el arma tecnológica de Phineas. En su laboratorio orbital. Esta de momento todavía nada. Y esto tampoco. Así que vamos a hacer seleccionar estas. Vale, tenemos la pionera, el laboratorio de Phineas, Monarch, que es aquí donde tenemos. Vamos a ir a la pionera. Al menos la pionera. Y así lo podemos hacer con... Vale.
Nation reached. The groundbreaker.
You got a minute? Hey, Captain. I heard that Groundbreaker's got a real good engineer. A lady named Junlei Tennyson. I was thinking that maybe I ought to meet her. If you got time to swing us by, I mean.
Oh, claro.
I don't got much experience fixing actual spaceships. I bet you a can of Borston beans she could... Thanks, Captain. I'll be sure to make it worth your time. Did you want to talk about something else?
Sí, sale el Parvati. Ay. Porque ya me estoy ocupando yo de ser pirata y especialmente hábil con las conversaciones. Así que... Buah, quieres robar un montón de cosas. Hay mucha munición. Vale, nos han pillado. Perfecto. Jane Elson.
Just checking your ship's manifest. Standard procedure.
Bienvenido a la pionera.
That's not the point. This happens because I'm not one of my workers.
No!
What do you think you're doing?
Intimidación. Gana.
Oh. Just be careful next time.
¿Ves cómo sirve de algo? ¿Puedo cerrar esto? Y por aquí nada más. Sí que más.
Hey, I saw. What do you think you're doing? I don't want any trouble out of you.
Que te intimidar a la gente. Es que te libras de una cantidad de combates y de gilipolleces por tener subido los talentos estos. Situación que puedes usar en el sudario con el sudario de la y desplazar automáticamente al acceder a la zona restringida asociada. Vale, perfecto. Eso no contaba con ello. Vale. No robemos mucho más por aquí. Bueno, si no ven estos...
What do you think you're... Oh, my mistake.
Que he probado hacerlo 2 veces. Si me escondo aquí... Ahí lo han visto. Perfecto. Vale, muy bien.
What do you think you're doing? Just don't complicate my job, okay?
Ha bajado mi reputación, en serio, Dios, qué putada. Con la pionera, ¿no? ¡Oh! ¡Oh! ¡Dios, lo que he bajado! Un 1%. Me van a odiar. Esto es más fácil. Cinco, macho. Madre mía. A ver, tenía cosas, la verdad. Por ahí hay algo, ¿no? Parece como si hubiese algo ahí detrás. No, no hay nada. No hay ni mapa siquiera. Inventario, a ver, Roba de trama, de seguridad. Aramid, ves, es basura. Me he roto todo.
I picked up this weird signal the other day. It was coming from...
Here we go again. No one.
Disfraz holográfico activado. No dura mucho, así que 24 a 35. Nada, no tenemos área suficiente.
What do you think you're doing? I don't want any trouble.
24 a 35. Aquí es donde puedes colar. Vale. Pero solo si tienes lo que tengo. Esto se resetea. Algo por aquí. Nada, esa puerta no podemos abrirla. Ya, nos falta capacidad. Registro, llegada, salida, bueno, al principio, mensaje, y pa. Ya está. Vamos a diario, ¿qué nos dice? Ah, vale, es lo del hombre del vacío. Vale, no podemos. Bebiendo vino de zafiro, que sirve una con Junlei. Esto sí lo vamos a hacer.
Rizzo's Knockout Bar. A CCN 76 milk chocolate bar with caramel and tea green nuttiness. It's time for a KYO.
You've been flying the outer systems route.
Pero bueno, ciudad nueva, ya sabes. Saque nuevo.
This is Halcyon News. We interrupt your regularly scheduled...
How do you do? And, sorry. Business has been slow. Anything done. Oh, you can't miss her. Right behind you, number 2. First unit on the left, or second unit from the right, depending on which direction you count from. Of course, most of our... I try and steer clear.
Vale, aquí está Gladys. Vender chatarra y ver qué tienes. 24 de armadura y tenemos pasta para ello. Pero de momento no vamos a pillar nada. Vamos a ver qué más tenemos. 14 de armadura, 13. No tienes muchas armas. 18, 29 por 1400. Y tú, esto es gamba. Ganga espacial. Que te da por culo la ganga espacial.
I'm sorry about the heat. Chief Dennison will get the radiators fixed soon. Of course, oh, and it's a lot of slogan. Have a look.
Ah, objetos a la venta. Armaduras. 3. Casco de lunático. 4, 17, 9, 9.
I'm not going anywhere, you hear?
No me interesa.
Go back to Byzantium, you gold-plated
Have you seen this man? Have you seen
Yes,
this
no one
man?
wants-
Reward offered for information leading to the capture of noted terrorist Phineas Wells. Report any sightings to your local board embassy.
Uf. Tarjeta de acceso a cocina de Tita. Espera, falta ir por aquí. Vamos a ver si podemos reverla.
Junlei Tennyson. I'm captain around here, but chief to my friends. Hope you don't mind the formal introduction. No, it isn't. It's a mess. But it's my mess, so I'll take the compliment. Just so we understand each other, I'm the final word on the ship. The Mardits, the crew, the engineers, their family. I hope there won't be any problems while you're visiting. Ain't that always the way? So what brings you to Groundbreaker? I'm curious, even though 9 times out of 10 the answer's just passing through.
Pues va a ser una de 9 de cada 10.
Statistics don't lie. We see a lot of the same faces coming and going. Most of them board spies and corporate sprats. Makes it hard to trust outsiders. You seem different, so welcome aboard.
Sí,
Groundbreaker's radiators need replacement parts. They're dumping superheated air into my ship. My engineers have managed to keep the heat to livable levels, but all the fixes are temporary. This wound is bound to fester. Only the board has access to new parts, and I won't let them swindle me into a corner. They want us to sweat, thinking that'll soften me up for a bad faith deal. If you'll excuse me, they can go fuck themselves. The board isn't helping, and my resources are spread thin. If I don't get those radiators back online, reasonable, huh? That's the best news I've heard all day.
Oh, sí.
According to my grandmother's old schematics, the parts we need should be in the back bays.
Buenas piezas que necesitamos de estar los hangares traseros. Vale.
I keep diligent records of station repairs, requisitions, and available assets, just like my grandmother taught me. The station's radiators haven't changed since her time, and her records say the parts should be there.
Pero hay un pero aquí sí.
The back bays are on a lower deck, long abandoned and a haven for miscreants now.
Vale, te las conseguiré.
Good. Once you've obtained the parts, we can proceed to the next phase of repairs.
24:35. Corona espacial. No quiero. Pero está en hoja de Parvati. ¿Y dónde está Parvati en todo esto? La más seguida hasta aquí. Pues debería estar aquí. Pero nada más seguido. Pipa de baile, muy bien.
Customs and inspection, right this way.
No me está siguiendo. ¿A quién hemos deseleccionado?
Hey there, you mind stepping back? This charming little ship, I don't really know. We got orders to hold your ship is all. I'd surely love to, but that's just not my bailiwick. You'll want to have words with our representative here from the board, Mr. Gosh. I wouldn't dream of it. No. Almost never. We're independent, you know.
Nada.
Groundbreaker's the last... Have yourself...
Vale, parece que... Tenemos que seguir con la principal momento para poder recuperar a Parvati. Por aquí había algo. Sí. Si no recuerdo mal.
What was that? Take him down!
Bueno, creo que no necesitas esto más. ¿No? No sé por qué me han atacado, de verdad. ¿No hay nada más por aquí? No, parece que no. Martillo prismático Hammersmith. Ah, vale. Esta era el arma tecnológica de la pionera. Vale. Misterio, problemas, investigación, volver al principio y salir. Muy bien. Pues hemos hecho una misión secundaria por meterme a explorar. Sin embargo... que aquí hay algo. Esto parece un puzzle de parkour de estos raros. No, no hay nada. Y vamos a ver. Ah, claro, me está marcando a Gladys, coño. Soy jodidamente imbécil.
Bless my heart. A stranger come knocking on a poor old woman's door.
Bueno, indefensa, indefensa.
You here for a particular reason?
No sé yo.
Or did the neighbors tell you how good my sugar cookies are? Maybe.
A ver qué
I've got a lovely...
A ver qué vendes. Armadura nada. Y armas. Vendes. ¿En serio? ¿Y esto es de ganga padial? Joder. La hostia, 73. Esto es mierda. Pero esto, hostias.
Gracious. Those have been the height of illegality since Stellar Bay turned their noses up at the board. You and I could be thrown to the void just for discussing such a transaction. Lucky for us, Groundbreaker's a free port. We're outside of the board's control. For the time being, at least. Now, I only have the one nav key, and they're hard to come by these days.
Cuéntame más sobre esa
well,
oferta.
I find I'm in need of a ship captain with a little moral flexibility. Do you know Edna over in engineering? Sweet as a pea, that one. On occasion, she'll pass along transmissions I might find interesting. She sent me a recording of a distress signal she'd scraped from the Groundbreaker's comm array. Curious thing is, it came from an outpost called Roseway.
Yeah,
You've got an ear for intrigue and a nose for bits. I like that. Here's a copy of the SOS recording, complete with the coordinates. If you should find a secret worth selling, might be I could find a buyer. Corporate bigwigs will pay top bit for... The more we got the corps fighting each other, the less... Don't forget to come find old Glad. Might want to acquaint yourself with Junlei Tennyson, Groundbreaker's chief. You'll find her fretting in engineering. Yes, dearie? Take that darling ship of yours down to... Shouldn't be too tough for a last... What do you want, then? My hard-earned wisdom? Anytime, sweetheart.
Hemos subido de nivel. Claro, y es que ahora tienes que subir mentira y persuasión independientemente. ¿Vale? Esta está la gracia. Entonces, yo ahora puedo esto subirlo así. Pero claro, hay que subirlo hasta el 60, ¿sabes? Claro. Entonces, diálogo, todos al 50. De momento están ahí, al 50. No necesito más de momento. Ahí están, todos al 50. Y los puntos disponibles que nos quedan los vamos a dejar en tecnología. Primero subirlos al 50, esas dos. Porque al 60 armadura de objetivos acojonados del 50%, pedista 100% de pérdida de acojonar humanos. Y cuando un humano se acojona tienes un 25% de armadura durante 10 segundos. De cuelgue, de automecanoide. Y la intimidación. Al intimidar a la criatura está un 5% de impacto crítico por cada 10 segundos y daño de crítico. Vale, pero subir estas tres, ¿vale? No sé si era al 50 o al 100. Intimidación afecta a diálogo y esta afecta a diálogos, ¿vale? Creo que era el de persuasión el que había que subir a tope. Sí, compraré a la dis por 10.000 bits. Estás tú que sí. Vamos a ver con Udon Bedford. No. Es que esto no es como un Fallout en el que puedes robarles, ¿sabes? O un Skyrim, un Elder Scrolls en el que puedes robar a la peña por detrás. No, aquí te jodes. Bien, entonces ya hemos visto una armadura muy tocha que nos va a venir muy bien. Que era aquí, ¿no? Que era esta de 650, ¿no? Sí. Esa nos va a venir muy bien. Porque aquí que hay 4, 5, 24, 35, nos falta mitad. Y esto es para bajar abajo, que ya iremos. Ahora mismo no podemos ir. Lo que me da por culo es que no puedo llevar a Parvati. No sé por qué se ha desactivado esa opción. Vale.
Veamos. Hello. This is the captain of the... No, that can't be right. Alex Hawthorne is the captain of that vessel. On top of that, I just impounded it. Oh dear. Has something happened to my favorite scruffy freelancer? There's no need for hysterics. This is all a hilarious misunderstanding. Right. You're going important places, I'm sure. Big, exciting, important places. There, I've removed the flag from your ship. I'm terribly sorry for the inconvenience. However, before you go, Alex promised to tell me the location of Phineas Wells. I'm sure you've seen his wanted posters all over the colony. Did Alex tell you where Wells might be? Anything at all?
Nunca lo mencionaron.
That's... Well, that's just terrible news. Law, what am I going to do now? The board will have my head. Oh, I'm sorry. This is terribly unprofessional of me. Is there anything else I might help you with? It's personal business, I'm afraid. Miserably, terribly personal. I don't intend to be. It's just a matter of trust. Information on the whereabouts of Phineas Wells would go a long way. It's fine. Really, it's perfectly fine. I understand. Now, if you've nothing else, please see yourself out.
Vale, pues me voy. Ya tengo mi nave, podemos ir a por Parvati.
It's almost time for today's episode of The Chairman's Children. Straight to the point, eh? All right then, on you go. Ask the common folk, and they'll tell you. Because that's what I think they made some... Those bored folk... But that's why we gotta keep... Probably. Every once in a while. We claims he's transmitting from That's right. Though for how long, I can't say. They've always got one scheme, but it won't work. Go right ahead, sweetheart. But it won't work. I also need any...
Claro, porque nos dicen que todavía podemos comprar la mierda esta, ¿no? Sí. Es una navegación de estelar. Sí, vale, pero eso no vamos a hacer. Entonces vamos a hacer misiones de acompañante aquí. No, 24 de 25 no lo hemos subido suficiente. Pero con Parvati creo que sí que podemos hacerlo. ¿Tú qué tienes? Spacer's Choice. Y esto solo tiene mierda y salatún. Sí, básicamente mierda. Sí. Dios, cómo odio esa cancioncita.
Hey, you got a second? Oh. Hey, we don't know each other yet, but I'm Felix Millstone. I was in the middle of a little discussion with the local authorities when I noticed your ship in port. Got to thinking you might be looking for some crew, so I wandered by, just to take a closer look. Gotta hand it to you, boss. That's a fine-looking ship. Only thing... Yes, I absolutely am. Just give me a shot. That's all I'm asking. I could be the best damn crew you ever hired.
No.
Oh, okay. Well, can you give me a couple of pointers?
No te rebajes, tío.
Good one, boss. Imagine me fawning all over you like some oily corporate parasite hoping for a raise. You got a real subtle sense of humor. I like that. And if you're willing to take me on board...
Yeah,
sure, an interview. That sounds fair.
No te ves dentro de 5 años, ¿sabes?
It's delicious. Mock apple pie and a tripicale crust. Maybe with a little cream on top. Classic.
¿Por qué estás sin
trabajo? I had this foreman, right? Guy never liked me. Always trying to get a rise out of me. But I keep my chin up, right? Be the bigger man, I tell myself. He's a Spacer's chosen man, though. So when the Chosen beat my Rangers the other night, my foreman comes swaggering up with his head full of boasting. Exactly. I was only doing what any self-respecting Rangers fan would have done. Look, this was a long time coming. Guy thinks he can push me around because he's some sky-high foreman, and I'm just a back bay's dock worker. Well, former dock worker. Foreman told me my biggest problem was that I didn't take orders. I told him my problem is not with authority, it's with jackasses. So yeah, I guess my biggest flaw... Are you kidding? I love a good fight. One time, I took an autoloader's head clean off its servos with one swing of a tossball stick. You can count on me in a scrap, boss. Wow. You don't know how long I've been waiting to hear that. Thanks, boss. You're not going to regret this.
Bueno, ya veremos. Tenemos que coger a Parvati. O alguno. Es que a ver, es que quiero ver un momento, a ver. A ver, Félix. 10 de persuasión. Parvati, ¿qué nos dabas? 10 en ingeniería. Y la ingeniería ¿Dónde está la ingeniería? Ah, aquí. Piezas de armadura de armas que necesitas para reparar tu equipo, vale. Y Félix nos da persuasión, nada. Vamos a llevar a Parvati. No, por la puerta. Ah, hasta 2 acompañantes. Pues Parvati y el vicario. Ah, Félix no, el vicario. Vale. Coño, no sabía que podía llevar 2. Tiene que haber alguna forma de entrar ahí dentro.
This is it. Security. I can check the departures register to find out which crew scholar shipped in and out with.
33 de 35. Y 33 de 35. Nos faltan 2 puntos de mierda. Y luego nos pedirá un montón de cerrajería. Vale, diario. Pues vamos a ver. Sí, esto. Y vamos a hacer misiones por aquí para ver si podemos subir ese puntito de la cerrajería. Esos 2 puntitos. Para seguir con la misión de Max también.
Have you seen this man? Reward offered for information leading to the capture of
Este más así, 150 de capacidad, no aumentan mucho, ¿eh?
More machinery. Must be housed on a sublevel.
Speak your mind. Honestly, I could use the distraction.
Adelante, Parvati.
I didn't think you just...
14.400 de
Parvati,
experiencia.
is it?
Toma
That's
ya.
a lovely name. What can I do for you?
I was just thinking, I haven't got much experience working with actual, real spaceships, Miss Junlei. Chief Junlei.
Junlei is fine.
Okay. Since you run a whole space station, I was wondering if, well, maybe you could teach me some things. I could message you later, maybe?
I'd be happy to make the time, Parvati. You can ask me anything.
Right. In person. Sure thing, Captain. Wow, great. I'll do that then. Messages. Later. Couldn't have done it without your moral support, Captain.
Now, if there's nothing else, there are other parts of the ship begging for my attention.
No he subido de nivel. Oh, medio nivel. Bien, vamos a hacer misiones secundarias. Consigue piezas para alrededores, armas de vacío, ya hemos hecho una de ellas, y una grabación de auxilio. Vale, pero esto es otra meta. Vamos a hacer esto aquí. Para seguir subiendo de nivel y ver si podemos hacer eso.
Hey, McRed, were you expecting any company?
A neighbor from above approaches our realm. Back away now. Look at this ripe piece of meat just sizzling on the grill. Yum, yum. Time to feed the flames. It's nothing personal. Promise.
Is this what carbon monoxide poisoning looks like? I don't think this deck is too well ventilated.
No.
Speaking for myself, Captain, I am not of a mind to be murdered by a psychopath who plays with fire.
You came with the crew. Welcome. We got plenty of space to spread out, but only room for one captain. Woo! Look at the courage on this one. Lay it on me, boss. Give me a taste of that fiery primal spirit.
That's right, sir. Just the parts. We'll be in and out in a jiff. You won't even know we were here.
Tennyson just keeps feeding the furnace, don't she? We're still playing with her last sacrifice out back, with the crew. You don't just ask a king for a favor when you're standing in his court. You bring tribute, sacrifices, prophecy, shit like that. Under its skin, this ship is all poison and darkness. Lead bones, asbestos muscle. Maybe you're right. You've got the run of the kingdom. Lay it on me, boss. I'm good. Ship got impounded. The crew and I racked up, but that's bureaucracy. Am I your dark reflection? You can come and go in my...
Vale, y nos ahorramos todo el puto combate que hay aquí. Que es bastante, o sea, son bastantes, tío, los que hay por ahí. Obviamente puedes ir en sigilo, con cuidadito. Cargándotelos a todos. Pero es casi mejor hablar, es más sencillo. Más hay mucha mierda por aquí. Está roto.
Does everyone get branded when they join McRed's crew?
Hey, you! What do you think you're doing? Go on, before...
We got another complaint. People don't like worms in their shrooms.
Vale.
Aw, they're just tilling the soil. Besides, they're my friends.
Find a new friend.
Munición, es que vamos muy sobrados de munición, no hace falta andarla a ver si da la munición. Que fijaos todos los que hay aquí, ¿sabes?
It's so cozy.
Piezas están aquí a 20 metros. ¿Cómo subimos ahí arriba? Es una buena pregunta. Ah, por aquí. Vamos por aquí.
Fantastic, we got them. Now we can move on to cleaner pastures.
Vale.
Smells kind of like old Bess's outflow pipes.
Y dicen sigilo, sigilo, sí, sí puedes ir sin pegar un tiro.
This is Halcyon.
You've returned, and in one piece. Good work. I'll take those. I need you to head through the large door at the far end of engineering. Take the elevator down into the machinery. There's a terminal in the back. Activate it when I call over the ship's PA. And bring weapons. There's a slight... If every repair... You can flip a switch for me, but you can't install... More than a few. Less than a... We were salvaging parts...
Don't worry, Miss Junlei. We'll be super gentle with the ship. You don't got a thing to worry about.
I'm genuinely heartened to hear that.
Vale. La cosa de este juego es que te subas las armas y las señales de diálogo. Tienes todo el puto juego hecho, no hace falta que hagas mucho más. Hay que bajar por aquí. Sí. Lo cual me recuerda que tú no tienes una puta armadura decente. Está por ahí arriba. Ahora veremos si se la han cargado ya o no. No, sigue ahí. ¿Por qué entran en combustión espontánea? Mecanoides. Ya están. Dios, qué fácil se hace este juego cuando sabes que tienes que subirte. Vale.
That's the terminal. I have the parts in position on my side. Go ahead and cycle the droplet pumps. And if you don't know what that means, just look for the command that says cycle droplet pumps.
Mierda. Vale, ahora tengo mucho. Bombas disparadoras, improvisando, más antiguo, volver al principio y salir.
The temperatures are dropping. Stop by once you found your way out of there. Groundbreaker owes you thanks.
Que aquí hay un cofre que quiero coger. Y esta puerta llega a... Ah, está trancada. Pero es la de abajo, ¿no? Joder. Dios, el salto en este juego es... una mierda, ¿eh? Sí, la de abajo ya la abrimos y dejamos todo despejado. Veamos si hemos dejado aquí abajo, que creo que no. Y ya está, es esto el combate que había que hacer aquí. Intenso, ¿verdad?
This is Halcyon News.
Vale.
My boards are returning to green. What a weight that is off my shoulders. I don't normally tolerate outsiders mucking about in my station's guts, but you're all right. The temperature should be dropping as we speak. I'll see to it the crew knows who kept us all from boiling alive. If you've got time, I believe Edna has a Plus, there's no time to train my
They must have been amazing people to have taught you all you know.
That means a lot coming from a fellow engineer. It was different. Maybe you can see why I'm protective of ground.
Oh, gosh. I don't know. I'm really just...
Don't sell yourself short. It doesn't take a seasoned pro to tinker on Groundbreaker. We're always thirsting for help. If you could find your... I hope that was a joke, Captain. I gelded that thing years ago. Now it bruises skin. You see any bite-sized Tennyson children? The next captain won't have my hair. You've got my attention. You're right. I don't. I like to think. The board wants control of... I placate too much of Groundbreaker. You've got...
Vale. Necesitábamos subir esto a 35 por lo menos. Para poder abrir esas puertas. Podemos subir persuasión e intimidación a 60. Vale, ya tendríamos ahí. Y vamos a subir mentira todo lo posible. Ya está. Ventajas que tenemos. Precisión, vale. Es que es basura. Vale, sí. Puede venir bien. Más 10 hasta dentro de diálogo. Cuando no tienes ningún acompañante. Vale. Cuando no tengo ningún acompañante, tengo 10 puntos más de datos de diálogo. Vale. Así que con eso podríamos llegar al 100, que quitamos al final solamente. ¿No tienes nada? No tienes nada. Solo tienes puta basura de mierda. Bien, vamos a hacer lo del terminal. Ahora que podemos. Espero tener ganzúas suficientes. Esto ya está todo. Espero tener ganzúas suficientes. Sí.
Great work. There it is. Just yank the drive.
Bienes confiscados, registro de seguridad, salir.
Now that we have the data cartridge, I can finally find out where that scholar I'm looking for ended up. Got it. His name is Reginald Cheney, and he joined a sublight salvage crew. Only he's not listed on the return manifest. Must have made landfall somewhere he wasn't supposed to. Ah, yes. Here. There's a domicile on Monarch in Fallbrook, rented to the same bit card he used to buy his seat on the salvage ship. I should have guessed. What better place to lay low if you wish to avoid...
Vicario.
I suppose I really didn't have much faith in actually finding him. Was a bit of a long shot, wasn't it? I admit it was a bit of a long shot, but when you've spent as many hours as I have in contemplation of the universe's secrets...
Vale. Y Parvati, vamos a ver qué te ha
Groundbreaker's
parecido.
safe from melting to bits now. Lots of good people can rest. That's on account of how I never met her. She was in another division of the Spacer's Choice family. She worked in the Vale a few months, sorting the cannery computers. Her contract said any kids she had, expected or not, belonged to her office from the time of conception. Could be. Reckon I'll never know. Well, I didn't expect her to be so tall. And did you see the size of her arms?
¿Te gusta, verdad?
What? No. Maybe? I don't... It's like somebody reached into my head and pulled out what I didn't know I wanted. You know how hard it is to find anybody who likes working with tools in a little town like Edgewater? I reckon there's worse places to start. Did you see how everybody on Groundbreaker listens to Junlei? She's just, here's how to fix it. And they trust her. It's just... She's calm and... He seems like a nice boy to me. I'm glad you gave him a shot. Yeah, but... I got a good feeling about him.
Bueno.
I mean, sure, he's a bit rough around the edges. I bet he just needs somebody to show him a better path. You might surprise
¿En serio? ¿Estás segura? Bueno, vamos. Bueno, tienes que subir más habilidades. Extraer modificaciones en el campo. Y esta es medidas de diferencia en el tiempo. Me viene. Y Vicario Max, que nos da medios de diálogo en combate.
Hey, that pad down there, with the lights off?
Vale, veamos, a ver. Diario, cositas por aquí. Bebiendo vuelve a la falible, pregunta a Parvati por Yunlei. Localiza a Reginald Chanley en Salto del Arroyo, en Monarch, ¿vale? Vais a entrar a determinadas de Hathor, dependencia de capitán que se encuentra de... Pero nunca llega a recoger la pieza en Senda Rosa, ¿vale? O sea, nos mandan a Senda Rosa. Esto nos mandaba a Senda Rosa, ¿no? Sí, Senda Rosa. Pues esto, porque esto nos manda hacia Monarch, esto nos manda a Senda Rosa, que nos va a ayudar a quitar la máquina de limpieza. También de aquí. Con Parvati pues tendremos que hablar ahora. Y hablar con Félix también. O sea, rondita de conversaciones nos toca.
Your face is a sight for sore ocular processors, Captain. Or rather, your headgear is.
Muy bien.
Hey, Captain. Can I get your temperature on something real quick?
¿Va a explotar la nave?
What? No. If it were, I'd be hollering loud enough to wake the dead. So, Junlei and I have been talking some. Through messages. I got him here on my data pad, and well, she sent me a poem. One she wrote her own self, I'm pretty sure. I don't know if I should read into it. Because poems are all symbolic and such, right? It's not so good. But real sweet. Oh,
That's
what got me spooked. I don't rightly know. It's about this engine that's been shaking itself apart. Then this lady mechanic comes by and lays one hand on it. And the trouble goes away. It sings. I don't want to get too hopeful, but I'm wondering if maybe she's the engine. I don't know where it's leading yet, or if I'm misinterpreting. I'm not much interested in physical stuff. Never have been. Leastways, not like other folks seem to be. It's not that I can't, I just don't care for it. It's been a problem in the past. The folk who wanted to be with me back in the Vale, they said I was cold.
El pasado es un supuesto problema. ¿Sabes qué pasa cuando le gustaba a alguien en el valle? No. Lo decían que yo era fría. Bueno. La persona es un mundo, no te preocupes por ello.
When folks start implying you're a little different from an automechanical, you start to wonder. I guess I just needed to talk. I'm feeling a touch better. Thanks for hearing me out, Captain. I actually had another message from Junlei. I just couldn't work up the courage to open it. But I'm gonna change that. Right now. Okay, here we go. Let's see here. Talking about old friends, got to thinking... Isabel. They were... I don't know. Junlei talked about them like it was past, but how far in the past? 10 years? Last week? Captain, I'm feeling all mixed up right now. Could we maybe head to the Groundbreaker? Get some drinks at that bar? Thanks, Captain.
Próxima vez nos pegamos una borrachera. 14.000. Si es que mira cómo sube la experiencia, colega. Sube que te cagas de rápido. Pero como ya os digo, estamos al 10. ¿Vale? El máximo es el 30. Esto es una puta mierda. Que dejaremos en los aposentos de capitán. Aquí no. Ah, no, es lo de este. Trazado y la mora. Si no escribo lo que pienso, pues un día empiezo a perder la cabeza. Muy bien. Barrita de materia oscura. Vale. Es un cómic. Palo de Dodgeball, el jugador de Dodgeball. Bueno, me gusta por lo menos. No parece haberse abierto nunca. ¿Podemos ver qué hay en el libro? ¿Cómo se llama? Mechanical Engineers Pocketbook. ¿Verdad? Ya estás tocho, vicario. Y nos quedan 2 seguidores. Bueno, 3, porque hay que Desbloquear a Sam.
Good to see you, boss. Didn't I tell you? I'm secretly the chairman's orphan child, abandoned at birth in the back bays. That's right. Can't get anything past you, boss. Honestly, before you picked me up, I was living in the back bays. Spent my whole life up there, watching ships roll in and take off. Always wondered when my ship would come. I was what folks on the Groundbreaker call a stowaway. Means I was invisible. Life carried on for everybody else, but not for me. I had to make my own way. Stowaways ain't free. We were just as trapped as anybody else. We didn't belong in the system, but we still had to live in it. We still had to play by the board's rules. Imagine spending your whole life looking out at the stars and knowing you could never aspire to be anything more than a box hauler. That's what it's like. Applied myself to what? I ain't got a head for numbers and figures, so engineering wasn't gonna pick me up. And sublight's got no use for a scrawny back bays kid. Hauling boxes was about the only work I could find. Hated every second of it. Foreman and I never got on. Could be I was overreacting. A better man might have turned the other cheek. Exercised a little bit of that, what's the word? Restraint? But on the other hand, broadsiding the jackass with a tossball stick, that felt good. That felt real good. Oh, I can do civilized. Proper civilized too. Genuflecting and everything. I caught a real lucky break. If you hadn't picked me up, I'd still be back at the docks, waiting for the day my ship arrives. Oh yeah, I had a prison cell back on the Groundbreaker. Carved my name on the wall. I wonder if it's still there. Thanks for listening, boss. Let's get going.
Vale. Es que eso es basura, no quiero. Y con el vicario vamos a hablar algo más.
As always, I am at your disposal. What are we contemplating today? Bokonu. Unfortunately, he was also one of the founders of the Philosophist School of Thought, so the...
Sí, esto ya es lo mismo de la otra vez. Para que no avancemos en su misión. Creo que no podemos hacer nada más, ¿no? No, no podíamos hacer nada más. Lo hemos mirado antes. Bien, vamos a... no, coño. Transferir. A dejar esto. Vale. Y a dejar las modificaciones. ¿Por qué te...? Y esto es ingeniería más 15, percepción menos 1. Me lo llevo. Para construir está bien. Vale. Pues vale. Teníamos que dar con nada, irnos a otro lado, etc. Vamos a ver con nada.
Welcome back, Captain. How can I be of assistance? Yes, Captain. Beginning playback now.
There's viscera and death everywhere. Gunfire, gnashing teeth. The unemployed. For law's sake, if anyone's receiving this, please send help. What? No!
Captain, we are now capable of accessing the Roseway landing pad. Also, corporate protocol requires... Forgive me, Captain. Was there another topic on your mind? Captain Hawthorne attached 98.4% of the ship's processes to my computer, thereby giving me... I have been programmed to deftly calculate navigation vectors through asteroid fields, while also operating... Alex also taught me the concept of a personality. He was quite... There is no need to be rude, Captain. I am still growing. The information in my memory banks... I have not yet... I asked once...
Vale, pues esto es el laboratorio de Phineas, que podríamos ir ahí y coger la otra, esta. Terra 2. Que es la señal de auxilio. No podemos ir todavía. Estila. Que aquí no tenemos nada que hacer todavía de momento. Tendríamos que ir a Terra 2. Ah, no, Terra 2. Anda, coño. Es volver aquí, sí. Es el mismo planeta, vale.
We're now in orbit above Roseway, Captain.
Y por aquí podríamos salir. Pero lo vamos a dejar por aquí. Y mañana seguiremos con más. Así que bueno, ya sabéis, estoy aquí. De momento, a eso de las 7 de la tarde estoy aquí todos los días. Y lo resubo los vídeos a YouTube. Así que si os habéis perdido alguno y queréis volver a verlo, o queréis volver a verlo, está en YouTube, en el canal. Los links están en la descripción del canal. Así que todo ahí lo tenéis. Así que nada, un saludo y hasta mañana. No, aquí.